My Lego club is about to divide up a ton of Lego. Seriously, over 350,000 pieces. I'm going to walk you through how I help them sort using a little bit of planning and this. Welcome to the Brickyard. If you've been in the Lego hobby for a little while, you might have needed to buy parts in very, very large quantities. I'm talking thousands, if not tens of thousands of pieces. And if you're part of a Lego club or if you're collaborating on a build, you know that buying in bulk is way cheaper, but then you have to sort them all out. Here's the thing about sorting bulk Lego. Counting takes up so much time. So when you've got Lego pieces that you need to distribute to 20, 30, 50 people in your club, counting them all up and giving them out takes forever. Here are some tips on how to sort quickly, and then I'll walk you through a full sort. Tip number 1, a minute of planning will probably save you 5 or 10 minutes of actual sorting. In my club, I get all these little pieces of paper with quantities on them. Now, I can look through these quantities and just kind of weigh each one out individually, but what I save time doing is I find the greatest common factor across all of those quantities. So throw back to elementary school math, but you want to find the largest number that divides into all of those quantities. In my club's case, most often that's going to be 25 because we require people to order in multiples of 25, but I might be sorting a part where it's multiples of 50 or multiples of 100. That means that if I can actually up to that larger number, I have to spend less time sorting because I can usually use a larger amount. Tip number 2 is you need a scale. I cannot imagine how long it would take somebody to count out individual Lego pieces in order to look at thousands and thousands of parts. It's just not worth the time. So the thing about these scales, and I'll link these in the description below, this is a precision scale that measures to the 100th of a gram, which is pretty good for almost any Lego element. I also have a finer detailed scale that can measure to the 1,000th of a gram. I really only need that if it's a really tiny part that doesn't weigh much, like a Technic link tread, but you want to be measuring by weight. Anything that you can do to save time in terms of counting out a large quantity of bricks will help you, and a scale is really the only way to do that. Tip number 3, very specific one. These trays are made by Lee Valley. That's a company they've got stores and online stores in the United States and in Canada. But you're looking for this tray that has the spout. The spout is important because when you are weighing large quantities of brick, you're usually pouring them into a cup on a scale. If you're pouring them from a bag, guaranteed the bricks are going to get caught on parts of that bag, or it's just going to be unwieldy to hold the bag. If you dump them into a tray really quickly, you can actually pour a lot more quickly and you have a lot more control over where the bricks are going. So recommend you pick a few of those up. All right, let's start our sort. So in my club, which is called Celeb Lug, we've got 8 people to sort for, and we're sorting white masonry brick. So here's all the quantities that we've got. I'm going to take a quick glance through these, and I know a couple of them right off the bat are slightly different quantities. So I see a lot of quantities of 100. I see a couple of quantities that have a multiple of 25 and one that has a multiple of 50. So I just kind of flag those to try to do them earlier on, and then for some of the other ones later, maybe I'll just group them kind of in order of smallest to largest. So I've done that. I know that I got to weigh out maybe 2 quantities of 25. I need to weigh out 2 quantities of 50, and then the rest is hundreds all the way down. So if you didn't follow that, I'll go slowly. I need 25 here. I need 50 plus 25 here. I need 100 plus 50 here. And then all of these are additional quantities of 100. In fact, I could even start weighing out 200 bricks at a time and save time basically by doing fewer sorts. You want to reduce the number of times that you weigh bricks because every time you're pouring a brick and looking at it, it takes, half a minute to a minute. All right, so let's get started sorting. So I'm going to take my scale here and I'm going to grab a cup. Important thing, you always want to use the same cup when you're weighing brick. So I'm going to put this on the scale and then I'm going to tare it or zero it out. So we're going to start using this cup, and then yes, we do have to count. You don't have to count that much, but I like to count about 3 or 4 times at the start, just quantities of 25, so I get a really strong sense of how much these bricks weigh. So let's count out 25. So 25 bricks, I've got 19.46. So I'm going to write this down. And I'm going to do this, I usually will do this at least 2 more times. So let's do that. We'll do another 25, again, using the same cup. So this time around we get 19.45. Okay, so we're in this 19.45 range. So we'll set that aside. And I'm going to do one more just for good measure. So the last 25 bricks, 19.48. Okay. Okay, so now we've weighed out 25 bricks. We feel pretty confident that 19.46 grams or so is the right quantity for that. So now we need to calculate the weight for larger amounts. It's pretty simple. All we're going to do is double this number. So we're going to take 19.46 and multiply it by 2. So that's the approximate weight for 50 bricks, 38.92. And then we'll just double it again. 77.84. That's 100 bricks. And then we'll double it again. Why not? Go to 155.68 for 200 bricks. Now, you could even go further here. You could say, if I want to weigh out 400 bricks, I'll multiply this here by 2. That's 311.36. That's for 400 bricks. And you probably could actually do 500 bricks. So if you took 77.84, which is the weight for 100, and you multiply it by 5, you could say, okay, for 500 bricks, 398.2, that's my quantity for 500. So that's really important, because if you're really sorting through a large amount of brick, you're gonna have a lot of 500s, thousands, things like that. And if you can, in one fell swoop, weigh out 500 bricks at a time, that's gonna save you a lot of time. So for me, I'm probably gonna stop right around the 100 mark. I could start weighing out 200s for this quantity, but I just don't really feel it's worth it. And I feel fine doing the hundreds. But if I had 30 people to sort for and I had a lot of 400, 500, 1,000 quantities, I would definitely be weighing larger amounts at one time. The other important thing to think about is the maximum capacity of this scale. So if I take an average cup, when I know I need to come back to this cup, but if I zero out the scale and I just put a cup on it, well, the cup itself weighs 29 grams. And the overall capacity of the scale is 500 grams. So I know I don't want to exceed around 450 grams or the scale is going to be inaccurate. So really the most I'd really want to weigh on this scale is probably that 500 amount. Now that's just for masonry brick. Every brick is going to be different, so you want to adjust based on the weights that you're finding. Okay, so we've weighed out 25 here, we've weighed out 25 here, and then we've got our last 25 here. Well, that 25 is not that useful right now. What I actually need is I need 50. So I'm just gonna dump bricks in here until I get to this, close to this 38.92 number, right? That's where we know 50 bricks is gonna be right around that. 38.819 and one more 39. I'm gonna say that's really, really close to 38.92. That is almost guaranteed to be 50 bricks. So I've got my first two people here in terms of their bricks. I've got Tiago's brick. Tiago's apparently got a lot of white masonry, so he's getting 25 alone. You're gonna notice something in how I zip these up. So our club gives out various kind of small sheets for these, and we like to have them stick out of the bag a little bit so you can tell who ordered what and their quantity. So I kind of put it in the corner here, and then I seal the bag as close to it as possible. It usually can't move very much, and the bag stays really intact. So this is just something that we like to do as a club. So we'll put that aside, and then the next person is Chris Marshall's. So I've got my 50 here on this cup, and I've got 25 from the old cup. So this all is easy to do and can get dumped into the bag. This goes along with Chris's stuff. So put that in the corner, seal it up. Make sure you seal from both sides just to make sure you're not missing anything. And Chris is good. For Simone, we need 100 bricks and we also need 50. So we'll count out 50. So things start going really fast now. 50, I know I need to get to 38.92. So 38.2, 39, I think it seems like 39 with the scale is about right for 50, so all good. So we'll take 50 there. Now we can count out 100. So 100, we're looking for 77.84, or somewhere in that range. $78.01. So that's almost guaranteed to be the right. It's off by 0.16 grams at that quantity. That's going to be 100. So this is now 150 bricks for Simone. And then everything else is just quantities of 100. So you could get bold. You could start measuring 155. Unfortunately, the cup that I've got here won't actually hold all of that. So I'll just measure in hundreds. But if you had a bigger container, like you might want to use a larger pad cup or like a solo cup or something like that, you would actually be able to measure larger quantities at one time, which will save you time. The more bricks that you can weigh at one time, the better off you are. The last trick I'll talk to you about is how I actually dump these into the cup. You can see me grabbing all of these by hand, pouring them into the cup. That is messy. It kind of, bricks will go everywhere. And that is where this sorting tray comes in. So by taking a lot of the brick and actually putting it on the sorting tray, I can actually start dumping them into the cup a lot more safely with a lot less mess. So we're going to looking for 100 here. I want to get to 77.84 or around there. 77.2, 77.17. I'm going to add one more, 77.98. So that's 100 bricks right there. And you'll just rinse and repeat, and you just keep doing this as we work through all of the remaining celebrities in My Amazing Lug. They will get all of their bricks super easily, and it'll save everybody a ton of time. I know this stuff, sorting, counting, weighing Lego, is pretty simple. Honestly, the first time I got into a bulk Lego sort, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I learned a lot from the people that are in my club. So if you learned something in this video, I would really appreciate it if you could drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Lego content. Now, if you're curious how I store over 1 million bricks in this small studio behind me, stay tuned. I've got a video in that. It'll be linked in the description below. In the meantime, let's recap what we learned today. So weighing large amounts of brick, you want to do as few weighings as possible, and you really don't want to count the brick. You want to count the brick at the start just to double check your measurements, and then you want to quickly get to weighing larger and larger quantities. So do a little bit of planning at the start, weigh things out, double check a few things, multiply them out so you can get to larger quantities more quickly, and use a scale. Thanks for tuning in to the Brickyard. I'll catch you on the next one.